Hello students, welcome to today's session. So in the previous video we were discussing the concept of instance variables. So this is the program which we were looking at. We have seen how separate variables are created for each object, or every object has its own copy of the instance variable. So in this example we have just one instance variable which is num3. So any number of objects that is created for new operator class, each object will have its own copy. So in the previous video we created two objects by right clicking here and then clicking on new operator, and then we gave a name obj1. Then we created another object and we named it as obj2. So in this way any number of objects can be created and each object will have its own copy of the instance variable. Now if you double click on obj1, you can see the instance variable belonging to this particular object. So I've clicked on obj1 and you can see that int num3 is there, only one instance variable. Then if I click on obj2, it has got its own copy of num3. Okay, so this was the concept. Now in this video I'll be showing you how to create the objects using code, using Java code. So let's do this. Before we create the object, let's see the syntax for using new operator. So focus on this line. This line is creating the object, okay, or rather it is the syntax for creating an object. So first you have to write the class name and then you have to write the object name. This object name can be anything, then equals, then new operator. Okay, this is our new operator, and then the class name again, okay, and then followed by open parenthesis and close parenthesis. So this is the syntax, and the example you can give like this. Suppose this is our new operator class. We created this new operator class, right? If you want to create an object of this class, you have to write the class name, that is new operator, obj1 equals new, then again the class name new operator, and then open parenthesis close parenthesis. Okay, so this would be the example for creating an object. Now let's come back to our code. So let's create the code. The class name is new operator, then the object name obj1, this name can be anything, then equals new class name. Okay, so one object has been created and you can visualize this like this. In the memory, one object has been created. It will have its own copy of the instance variable num3 and it will be initialized by the default value 0. Okay, so this is the state in the memory when line number 30 is executed. Let's create one more object. And we'll name the object as obj2. Now you can visualize this. Another object has been created, that is obj2, and it will have its own copy of the instance variable num3, and at the moment both the objects, their num3 variables value is 0. Now let's follow the process of calling the functions like we did in the previous video, but this time we'll not use BlueJ, rather we'll write the code for calling the function. Okay, now notice here, this was our first part, obj1. Using obj1 object we called get number first, then main second, and then third we called display. So let's call these functions in this sequence. So how can you call the functions? You have to use the dot operator. Okay, so dot operator is used for accessing the member functions of a class as well as for accessing the data members. Okay, so the instance variables are also known as data members, and the functions are known as member functions. So in our this example we have one instance variable and 3 member functions. Okay, now if you want to access these members, you have to use the dot operator. Let's see how. First we'll be looking at how to access the member functions. So I'll write obj1, that is the object name, and we have to call the get number function first. So I am calling get number, then open parenthesis, close parenthesis. So this will call the get number function, and as soon as this line number 33 executes, the control will go to the get number function. Okay, it will come here and it will execute all the statements present inside the function. Okay, now the important thing to notice here is that when you say num3 equals 67, okay, you are storing 67 in num3. So this num3 will get stored where? It will get stored in obj1, or will it get stored in obj2? So you have to see the calling object. Which object called this get number? So if you come back to our run function, okay, here the object is clearly obj1. Using obj1 we called get number. Okay, that means this num3 is referring to obj1's num3, okay, and not obj2's num3. The reason is that obj1 is the calling object. Let's call the other two functions as well. So obj1 dot, the next function was main. So obj1 dot main and obj1 dot display. So this is our first part of calling the objects. In the second part we called display function again, but using obj2 object. Okay, so let's do the same. We'll write obj2 this time dot display. See, and the interesting thing here, when we see the output, you can see that this line will show some different value of num3 and this line will show some different value of num3, which is exactly what happened last time in the last video when we were discussing this same example. Okay, so according to the last output, the sequence of outputs were 67, 34, 34 and 0. So today also we should be able to get the same output. So let's compile and see the output. So you can see that get number function is displaying 67, then the main function is displaying 34, then the display function is showing 34. Okay, all these were belonging to object 1, object 1's num3, and finally obj2's display is showing 0. Now all these are values of num3. Okay, the difference is the first 3 lines are showing the value of obj1's num3, and this 0 is obj2's num3. Okay, so this is how you'll use the dot operator for calling the functions. Now let's see how to access the member variables. So students, let's see how to access the data members using the dot operator. So the procedure is same. Write the object name, then dot, and write the member variables name. Okay, so the name of the member variable or the instance variable or the data member is num3 in this case. So I'll write obj1 dot num3. Okay, obj1 dot num3 is equal to 45, let's say, for example. Okay, now let us compile and see what is the output. So if you see, there isn't any difference in the output. Okay, that is because when this line is executed, so this line stores 45 in obj1's num3. Okay, so 45 gets stored, but see what happens in the next line. In the next line, get number function is called, and the get number function replaces 45 with 67. Okay, so the 45 which was here was replaced by 67. So when I do the printing of num3, 45 is not printed, 67 is printed. Okay, now let us cut this line from here and let's paste it here. So remember the previous output. The previous output was 67, 34, 34 and 0. Okay, Now if I place obj1 dot num3 equals 45 here, what do you think the output will be? The output, will it remain 67, 34, 34, 0, or will it be something else? So let's analyze. obj1 dot get number will print 67. It will assign num3 with 67 and then it will print 67. Okay. obj1 dot main will assign 34 to num3 and so 34 will get printed. Then obj1 dot num3 we are assigning, we are changing the value, the previous value, which is the latest value of obj1's num3. First it was 67, it got replaced by 34, now it is being replaced by 45. Okay, now the latest value of obj1's num3 is 45. Okay, so when I call the display function, it will print the value of num3 as 45. But when I call the display function of obj2, it will print 0. Okay. So let's see the output. 67, 34, 45, 0. So as you can see, 67, 34, 45 and 0. Now let me give you one last example. I'll write here obj2 dot num3 is equal to 32, and again I'll write obj1 dot display. So what do you think the output will be now? So students, let's analyze this. This will print 67, this will print 34, right? Yeah, this will print 34 and this will print 45. Then we are assigning 32 to obj2's num3. Then we are calling display function belonging to obj1. So this will print the value of num3 as, so the latest assignment was done by, it was done here, so it should print 45. Okay, let us just write it down. 67, 34, then this will print 45, then this line will also print 45 and obj2's display will print 32. Okay, so let's see the output. So as you can see students, 67, 34, 45, 45 and finally 32. So this is it. If you can understand this example, that means you have understood the concept of objects, instance variables. And if you haven't understood, you need to re-watch this video and the previous video. You have to watch it again and again until you understand. And I'm giving you a homework. Okay students, so you are supposed to tell me the output for this code. So everything here is same. The lines have changed here. Okay, so you have to tell me what will be the output for this. Okay, when the run function is executed, so it is exactly same. in this example which I just showed you earlier, I called the run function, and this run function in turn called so many other functions, right? So this is what I am repeating, that you have to call the run function, and you have to tell me what will be the output. So you can use the Campus Care app, okay, use the messaging feature, and write down the output. Write down the output and send it to me. So I'll stop here. Thank you.